Welcome back to page 121. Today, out of the monster manual, we're going to take a look at a great monster, the Ogre. Ogres come 2 to 20. They are common. Armor class 5, 9-inch movement. Hit dice are 4 plus 1. Attacks are 1, 1 to 10, or by weapon. And they have standard magic resistance, low intelligence. They are chaotic evil, and they are large. Love ogres. Ogres can be so much fun. Ogres can be found in virtually any terrain, including subterranean places. They are ill-tempered and voracious. They are fond of treasure and will sometimes be found serving as mercenaries in the ranks of orc tribes or evil clerics. Ogres mingle freely with trolls and some giants, and they are at times enslaved by certain demons. For more, 11 or more encountered, there's a leader. These used to be really important back in the day, because you'd get to justify why you had tougher ogres and things like that, and orcs, and because they were leader types. The ogres are found in their lair. There'll be 2 to 12 females, and they fight as normal ogres, but only have 2 to 8 hit points of damage, and they take max of 6 points per die. 2 to 8 younglings. I avoid younglings and non-combatant females generally, just to keep the game fun and flowing. Ogres speak their own language as well as that of chaotic evil. Don't use alignment tongues. Orcs, trolls, and stone giants. Description: the hide of ogres varies from dull blackish brown to dead yellow. Rare specimens are a sickly violet in color. Their warty bumps are often a different color, or at least darker than their hides. Hair is blackish blue or dull dark green. Eyes are purple with white slits. Teeth are black and orange, as are talons. Ogres wear any sort of skins or furs. They care for their arms and armor reasonably well, and their lifespan is not less than 90 years, unless, of course, cut short by adventurers. Ogres are really good. They're just a good shock troop to throw into your dungeon. 1 to 10 damage is extremely respectable. And then as the players get up a little bit in level, when they hit 6th, 7th level, right around in there, ogres are still usable. I give them the +3 attack, +6 damage for their strength. So suddenly you have an ogre that's doing 1 to 10 damage +6. That's a much more formidable opponent. So your 7th level fighter is not going to be so cocky about them. One advantage for the players is that they are large creatures, and that is that the weapons usually will do more damage, not always, but usually will do more damage to large creatures than to medium or small. So ogres are just a great utility monster, somebody to round out your dungeon, somebody who's pretty much always going to attack, and always going to be a problem for the players. Half ogres do exist in Greyhawk. Roger Moore did an excellent article on those during 2nd edition, and they are an allowable player character race. I have a half ogre. His name is Mongo Grossberger. Mongo hasn't seen the light of day in probably, it's got to be around 38 years. So old Mongo was only around till about 4th or 5th level, and then I just moved on to something else. And then under the ogre listing, we have an affiliate ogre, an Ogre Magi, otherwise known as the Japanese ogre. They appear as 1 to 6. That's a deadly attack. Armor class 4, 5 plus 2 hit dice. They have magic. 1 attack for 1 to 12 damage. Special attacks, see below. No special defenses. They are magic resistance to standard, average to exceptional intelligence. They are lawful evil, and they are large, 10.5 feet tall. Ogre Magi are not as rare elsewhere as they are in this part of the world. They normally seek uninhabited places in which to lair, typically in a fortified dwelling or some secure cavern complex below ground. From this location, the Ogre Magi will foray to capture treasure and humans for slaves and food. If encountered in their lair, the Ogre Magi will always have a chief of greater strength, +2 per hit dice. Ogre Magi, and then they'll also have slaves. So you can end up just using a lair as a good 1 night, 2-3 hour game, just using an Ogre Magi lair. Ogre Magi are able to perform the following feats of magic: fly for 12 turns. That doesn't have to be all at once. I let them split it up. Become invisible. That's at will. Cause darkness in a 10-foot radius. Polymorph to human or similar biped humanoid form from 4 foot to 12 foot size. And that there's no limit on that. And regenerate 1 hit point per melee round. Melee round. 10 in a turn. Lost members must be reattached to regenerate. Once per day, they can also do any of the following: charm person, sleep, assume gaseous form, and create a ray of cold, the same dimensions as that of cold wand, which has 8 8-siders of damage, and saving throw, of course, for half. Japanese ogres speak their own language, that of normal ogres, the common tongue, and their alignment tongue. And description, Ogre Magi have light blue, light green, or pale brown skins. Their hair is typically of an opposite color and darker color, blue, green, green, blue, except that brown-skinned Ogre Magi have dark yellow hair. Their nails are black, and their teeth and tusks are very white. Horns are ivory colored. Their eyes are dark pupilled with white centers. Their apparel is typically colored in patterns familiar to their homeland. And I actually had a player catch this description as horns are of ivory color and asked me if they were indeed ivory. And I said, sure, why not? So he harvested them from 2 Ogre Magi they had defeated and then was able to sell those for a profit. And of course, any kind of blood or anything skin would be good for various spells. So the Ogre Magi are really powerful, and they're not to be underestimated. 5+2 hit dice does not seem that tough. But with their magical abilities, including flight and invisibility, they're incredibly dangerous. These will still be a challenge for characters up to around 9th, 10th level. I've used them that high. They're very dangerous, especially if they have a bunch of ogres working for them. One other note on ogres is Gary Gygax, in one of the Gord the Rogue short stories, in the short story compilation Knight Errant, has an ogre. He's in 2 or 3 of the stories. His name is Pincus, and he's a foppish ogre who loves his fine clothing and is very well spoken and very intelligent. He's from another prime material plane, not from Oerth. But Pincus was a very interesting ogre and inspired a couple of more sophisticated ogres that I've used in my campaign over the years. So I recommend a sophisticated ogre to give your players a little something to think about. But there you have it. That's a quick look at the ogre from AD&D. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed what you heard and saw. If you did, please like and subscribe. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time on page 121.